regions that are very, very strong. And for a long time, it was Philippines and Indonesia. So, how that kind of adapts through the years, that's what we're seeing. And now we're going to be jumping into the draft here. Game number 1, once again, Twisted Minds, Burmese Ghouls. And bans, if you guys missed it earlier, we saw some common bans now so far. And Joy on the top of that list for a lot of these teams. They don't want to deal with that. Rafaela taken out as well. Fanny, love the respect there. I know I've been listening to you guys casting the past couple days really debate about the jungler picks, right? And I kind of want to pick your brain about this, G. Like, where are you leaning towards? Like, do you still think utility is king, or is there that room for, adapting to these assassin picks here?
I feel like utility is king, but right now Twisted Minds, where they really shined was utilizing that Fanny and those assassins in their game. When they were versing AP Bryn really had a struggle with the Fanny and a struggle with the R-Lot. So both of those bans coming out by Burmese Ghouls are like key picks that really kept AP Bryn pushed against the wall. So you can already see that Burmese Ghouls is reading into the games and are preparing to face Twisted Minds. Because to be honest, there's not a lot of known about Twisted Minds. They're kind of like, if I'm not mistaken, I've only seen 2 of the championships that they've actually been in, where Burmese Ghouls has participated in quite a few tournaments. So Twisted Minds has a little bit more of a schedule and a little bit like they know what to anticipate from Burmese Ghouls versus Burmese Ghouls. All they got is AP Bryn, and then the other game against Homeboys. So it's a hit or miss, but those are definitely key target bans that kept AP Bryn pressed against the wall.
Yeah, I like that you... I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat, for the most part. Like, I think utility for majority of teams, if you're really talking about, again, prioritizing the objective gameplay, they fit really well, and you have to be a certain type of team or player to really pick up one of these assassin picks. And as we see these first picks kind of fall into place so far for the first phase, Ruby has been a top pick for very apparent reasons. Great setup, still quite tanky, offers a lot of utility there. You have the X-Borg now here too, and there's the Fredrin. So this is kind of already fallen into place for Twisted Minds. I like that the Fredrin is picked up because that's going with what we were just talking about. Now we'll see what Burmese Ghouls pick up for their third pick for this first phase here. The fact that Guinevere's there, Claude, these are also solid choices that have been picked up quite often in the past couple days. Guinevere especially, like how are you feeling with that matchup against the Fredrin in the jungle?
Right now,
if that's like, no more flex, we'll have to see.
Right. There could be a little flex happening. I know Burmese Ghouls does it. Twisted Mind also flex quite a bit because we can already see that a Ruby and an X-Borg is being picked up, and both of those can kind of be flexed. And Twisted Mind, again, I think they picked their squad name because they like twisting people's minds.
Twisting
you never
minds,
know what they're gonna go. You never know where they're gonna go, and their play style is definitely mind blowing. Bam.
Burmese goes Nana though.
Yep. And I gotta say, Nana has definitely been one of the tide turners in these games.
Yeah.
So I think Twisted Minds has to keep that in mind when going against Burmese Ghouls. Now, from the side of Twisted Minds, I feel like we're gonna maybe see... They've already got the Fredrin. The Fredrin versus the Gwen, I feel like, is a good go because maybe they're going to be able to keep the Guinevere at bay with some of the taunts and some of the plays, and I think that's what the Ruby is going to play into as well. Yes, Guinevere, if it is flexed into the roam position, could probably be utilized a little bit more than in the jungle at this point, just because what Twisted Minds comp is.
It's already kind of scary, like looking at Burmese Ghouls, and this is what I was talking about earlier about, some of their aggressive play style and now how it's adapted because of, the fact that you have a change in the roster from what people have been seeing, right? You have Delar and you have Soxa there. And just with the 3 picks, this can already overlap really well. I think you always have to kind of look at how do these ultimates from these heroes overlap, and the fact that you have great CC potential with a Guinevere and Nana, let's be honest, like... Melina's Blitz, dude, the damage can be insane. Whether that's used first or in conjunction with Blazing Duet, like that is deadly. That is a lot of deadly threat in a very either the linear path or just in a AoE, situation basically, and that is tough to deal with. Now again, Twisted Minds, I like that you mentioned this. They have quite a bit of tankiness already, right? There's a lot of kind of even hidden tankiness. Just an X-Borg in general, right? He's got his armor there to work with him. So with this, they really have to round out their damage department, right? They've got a lot of ways to disengage or set things and kind of go with that. So what are you thinking for their gold lane option and even in the mid lane?
So I think Burmese Ghouls picked the Claude. Of course, it's a great pick, but I think they didn't want to ban it out as well. And I think that they picked the Claude because Twisted Minds has picked up Claude multiple times, right? And I'm actually surprised they didn't pick it up a little bit earlier, but I can only imagine that Twisted Minds is probably going to pick up the carry, if I had to imagine, just because they have that solid front line already built. They need to now have that back line. And the only dive right now that we see from Burmese Ghouls is the Claude. So if they do pick up the carry, I do foresee Burmese Ghouls trying to pick something up that could dive a little bit deeper. Well, they also have the Guinevere, so they do have the Requiem that could dive into the back line. So they do have a little bit of dive, but they could, if a carry is picked, utilize a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll find out here in just a bit, but also Burmese Ghouls going to pick up the Lapu Lapu. This is pretty much what they need at this point. When you're looking at these picks that they already have, like we mentioned, they have a ton of damage. Now they need that tankiness, and just like you mentioned, G, they pick up the carry for Twisted Minds, and they round it out with Novaria, which I think is great because you have poke potential, you can stay from a distance, you provide vision, and this is why Novaria for the longest time was so popular towards even the end of the year last year, because she provides so much to allow basically let's say even the root, right, to be able to spot things out, land those plays with the I'm offended if that's the case. But not only that, once again, the poke potential is just massive with Novaria.
Yeah, also being able to stay away from the Nana, right? Just not, you don't want to be CC'd, you don't want to be hit by that Melina's Blitz. I just think it's overall a great thing, but I think we're going to be getting it
while we wait up to load in. But again, really trying to see how things round out. Like you mentioned, they already have a ton of burst potential. And can they actually utilize that in these objective fights, which we know is going to happen here? And I like the fact you said, for Twisted Minds, they have a great setup, they have great tankiness, and also poke. We are going to be loading up, here we go, into the first game against Twisted Minds, Burmese Ghouls. It's a best of 3 to kick off the playoffs here. Single elimination once again for both of these teams as they get started for this first game. Already a lot poking going on back and forth here. And once again, you have to look at how this kind of rounds out. So that last pick, again, was the Akai. That's what I missed from the draft there. But so utility for the utility so far. And wow, a lot of poking already.
Yeah, a lot of poke, and I feel like that's what both teams are kind of filling each other out. Again, you were speaking on it a little bit earlier, is that Burmese Ghouls is pretty aggressive in their current comp, right? And just overall the style that they like to play. And Twisted Minds seems to be in that same bracket of play style. So I want to see how the two collide and how they can bring that into this new meta that MLBB has set forth.
Well, again, we'll see how it kind of plays out here. The matchups that we see, though, I guess from lane to lane, is not anything out of the crazy ordinary, right? I mean, for the most part, maybe the biggest change here from what we've seen last year's meta or anything like that really is the Nana. But Nana has been rising, recently, and I think a lot for good reason, because the burst damage potential is great, poke is great, and then the way her passive works too. So as we get prepped up, first turtle's going to be up here for both teams. Delar already taking a shot right from Cuffin. Both Saksa and 7-0 trying to keep things together here. Mike also getting a position, Maro as well. They have to watch out for the I'm offended here, and that's the positioning. They get the vision provided once again with Cuffin. Still no commitment though on the turtle.
Yeah, no commitment, able to reset it back and forth. I gotta say, I think they're kind of both filling it out until they all get level 4 secured, and engage might happen.
They're going to go. Saksa able to secure it. There's the heavy spin already coming down. Finds a lockdown, though. Still going to be looking for the first blood. Morrow could be in trouble. Delar won't be able to get the flicker in. He was trying to find the kill. Not able to connect, but so far, they get the objective for Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great battle from both sides. And I think they were resetting Turtle constantly just so that they could reach that level 4 and be at an equal playing fields. But Burmese Ghouls hitting that retro. And I think that's where the Kai succeeds here, right? The Kai is going to be that detriment for Twisted Minds. They're going to have to figure out how to bait out that heavy spin and just keep them at bay. Because if not, securing neutral objectives like the Turtle is going to be pretty tough for Twisted Minds. We can kind of see some items. I don't see anything super out of the ordinary other than that we do see Stitch picking up the Corrosive Scythe on the side of Burmese Ghouls. So both teams are kind of holding it at bay.
Oh, they're going to find possibly a pickoff here. Able to get Morrow finally taken out. Nico getting that first blood. 7-0 trying to do anything, but really, what can he do on this Fredrin for now? Still the focus also here in the bot lane. Sano could be in trouble unless Burmese Ghouls just decides to back off. 7-0 there to help him out just in case, but so far, Blink to jump in. Won't find the connection he was looking for, and they're fine for now.
Yeah, from the side of Twisted Minds, they are just staying. They're just trying to keep up with Economic League, but the heavy spin.
Heavy spin gonna find a lockdown once again. Morrow's gonna be in trouble. There's the blazing duet as Morrow falls again. 2 deaths now into the early game of game 1.
Yeah, kind of back to what I was saying on Twisted Minds is going to be really gearing up to try to make it into that late game. A Bravest Warrior and a Last Insanity here.
Delar still going to be going. Already got through the armor. Mike could be in trouble. Still can't get the kill. That's tough for Delar. So still not able to get the kill he's looking for. Turtle's going to be up, though, now. Twisted Minds in position for this one. Blink around the corner, though. I don't know if they're going to get here in time. Saksa might just give it up as they do. 7-0 now grabbing a turtle for themselves.
By the aggression of Burmese Ghouls, I definitely believe that was a great take by Twisted Minds, keeping them at bay. Burmese Ghouls, though, responding so well into this match, putting a lot of pressure onto Twisted Minds. And you can already see, I like how Blink went the Guinevere roam, right? That is, Morrow being on the Ruby is going to be a little tough, but we can already see, my God, Twisted Minds putting so much pressure onto this bottom lane.
I think they're doing what they have to here. The fact that Morrow had 2 of these early deaths, but realistically, that's his job, right? I mean, for the most part, he has to find these openings, try to get these I'm offended offs if he can. But so far, Sox has been playing it to a T, right? He's able to find these lockdowns with a heavy spin very, very well. And still, once again, gonna find the target. Morrow, for the 3rd time, will go down before the 6-minute mark here.
I mean, at this point, I believe Burmese Ghouls is just like, let's just keep killing Morrow as much as possible. Because if we can keep Twisted Minds at bay, then they're not going to have any vision over the map and we'll have complete control. And I think that's where Burmese Ghoul is succeeding at this point. And we can already see possible clash down here.
Focus on the bottom lane. But so far, Twisted Minds going to hold it together, as you were saying, G.
Yeah, and again, Burmese Ghouls, you can already see they applied that pressure down there. Twisted Minds, what I think they really need to do to succeed in this match with how much pressure Burmese Ghouls is bringing is that they just need to keep denying as much as possible. Maybe Mara not getting cut off and being too wild in the river, right? And we can kind of might see a little bit of an engage and a choke here. Twisted Minds is doing good. Don't count them out. Don't count Burmese Ghouls out. Twisted Minds really, their late game security is where they need to go. And beating Saksa to the jungle and to these neutral objectives is where they need to keep going. And we're kind of going to see probably the next fight here over the turtle.
Yep, Blink gonna jump in, still gonna be working for it. They're gonna forget the turtle for now. Heavy spin gonna be used. 7-0 is out of the picture. Another lockdown. Morrow has to flicker out. Stitch on the chase. And that looks like it's gonna be the 3rd turtle just taken Burmese Ghouls from the hands of Twisted Minds as their jungler was taken out of the picture.
Yeah, this is hard for the Fredrin right now. I mean, I feel like that's how Twisted Minds has to take on Burmese Ghouls is to attack the jungle with the Violet Requiem.
Look at the pressure. This is what I was talking about earlier when you asked me, right? Like, about the play style of Burmese Ghouls. Hey, man, this is exactly what we were saying, right? The objective play style is there. They've locked that down. A lot of the times they're finding these pickoffs before the objective take. And then the pressure that they put in these side lanes especially is just, it's on point right now. And Twisted Minds is trying to, like, they're trying to catch their breath, man.
Yeah, and I feel like this is what Burmese Ghouls got to keep up. Keep the pressure up. Keep invading, because you're at that.
Yeah, now in the mid lane, able to find another heavy spin, going to be utilized once again. They don't even care about the turrets. Shots after shots coming down. Maro going to be in trouble. 3 down for Twisted Minds. Still trying to hold it together at that tier 1 mid lane turret. Armor going to be taken out, and Burmese Ghouls is taking everything here.
Right now, Burmese Ghouls is just feeling so good. And I'm, you know, what's kind of going through my mind at this point is did the stage twist Twisted Minds, right? Whew. Are they being pressured right now by the presence of a crowd being in such a big arena? Burmese Ghouls, they have the experience. Like they've seen crowds like this. Can Twisted Minds bring this back is what I want to know. With Burmese Ghouls applying so much pressure here.
Yeah, I think, again, when you're talking about both the team's experience in terms of the players, right, their individual experience, they've all pretty much got it, right? And when you're talking about the stage, how that might impact them, regardless of if that's the case, you don't have much time to adjust, right? You're down to a best of 3. It's single elimination. Your backs are against the wall. You're, 5,000+ gold behind here. You have no kills on the board if you're Twisted Minds, right? You're in a very difficult position as Burmese Ghouls is controlling this entire part of the game.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show that Twisted Minds is just lacking a bit of that early game damage. When they get into the mid game, Twisted Minds is probably going to start popping off a little bit more. But I think that's Burmese Ghouls knows that. They have the Navario, which is about the mid to late game, and then the Claude, or the carry that is also mid to late game.
Cool. Look at that. That is just showing how far ahead Burmese Ghouls is. Absolutely deleted Maro for the 5th time. Plus the Lord taken now by the Burmese Ghouls. They're going to go ahead and march in with that. And most likely get to the point where they're so far ahead at this point. It was taking a look at the items, right? That they're going to be knocking on the base doors here of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, and man, Twisted Minds is going to have to mount up a defense here. But they have to play safe, right? Like I was trying to build upon is that the late game is where they're going to have to identify. But Burmese Ghouls is just like, nah, there ain't going to be no late game. We are going to take as much as we possibly can from you.
Yeah, as we see that kind of unfold from here, once again, Lord making its way on the top side. So Burmese Ghouls, they might try to find like one more turret if they can, whittle it down a little bit more, but again, look at the positioning for Saksa. He's so far ahead, so confident that he's like, I can chill behind this tier 2 turret completely fine and look for a heavy spin up if I can. Delar can do the same thing with this Lapu Lapu pick, and that's what they're going to work with as they take these buffs as well, kind of evening these waves out until that Lord gets to the position.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that they're waiting. I like how long the Lord's taking to make it here. They're sinking the lanes to go against Twisted Minds, and Twisted Minds is defending this mid turret with everything they possibly can at this point, but it is still going to fall. Now, with the Lord clashing down, it looks like the lanes are going to be synced, and I think this is where a big play is going to be coming here.
Okay, here they go. Shield's going to go down. Lord less than half health. Still holding it together, though. Twisted Minds able to defend for now. They take a couple shots, but hey, that's at least a small step in the right direction for Twisted Minds. Can they continue to keep these at bay? They should be able to clear these waves. So with that being said, G, what is this? Where's the time that Twisted Minds can get back into this game? Nearly 10,000 gold behind. They're about 8,000 behind, but they stayed alive, right? They held on to the base turrets here, and they're not on the board yet.
Yeah, holding on to the base turrets is probably the biggest key for Twisted Minds, and I love their defense. They kept Burmese Ghouls always thinking and always attempting to possibly go for a pick. The biggest thing that we are seeing right now is Cuffin is actually starting to do a little bit of damage to some of the squishier heroes on the Burmese Ghouls. So we got to keep an eye out for that. As long as Cuffin can keep continuously poking, I think it could be a big problem for Burmese Ghouls. So they just got to keep this up. With the gold lead, we've seen teams like this change, just flip the switch, especially if they can keep the tier 3 towers in check. If they can keep that in check, they might be able to, you know, take a Lord Steal here, mount up that wall, push a little bit. But I think right now Twisted Minds might just go for another defense, as Burmese Ghouls have been very aggressive, especially since we see a 0 to 8 kill ratio right now.
I mean, with that being said, that's just going to be another Lord in the hands of Burmese Ghouls. They're so far ahead. And, you know, we've seen this time and time again for a lot of these teams, right? And they kind of have to pull out, like, just a crazy defense and then, like, a miracle play to stay in this game. Even looking at the itemization here, right? You can see the disparity in terms of the economy, especially in these crucial lanes. The fact that, hey, Cuffin picked up the Divine Glaive, great, right? He does have some of that penetration now, but really, even if you are able to whittle down some of the members of Burmese Ghouls as they approach the base, do you actually want to, like, go in and fight them? You know, unless this is the redemption arc for Morrow in this game. He's 0 and 5. He's had a very tough time. But if he can pull off a crazy I'm offended, that might be what they need into the base if they can get Burmese Ghouls off, like, on an off step here.
That is true. They just need to get them into one tower to make a big play. And again, like I said, I like their defense. Right now, they're keeping Burmese Ghouls pushed back against their wall, even though they are being pressured here. One tower down. Lord still full HP.
Well, yeah, they're gonna take care of it though. So Lord taken care of. They lose the bottom turret. Still, oh, there goes Morrow with I'm offended. Able to find the setup they're looking for. 7-0 going to be down though. Still going. Last insanity to use, but on the backside, Stitch goes in with a blazing duet. Able to find 2 down for Twisted Minds. Nico goes in with a flicker. They might still look to end it here. Still going to be working on the top side. But 3 members, Twisted Minds, alive and well. Delar in trouble. Still going to be caught. Goes down finally. Mike, put him on the board. Twisted Minds is finally showing some life, but is it too late? Blink goes in once again. I'm offended, gonna be used. Still gonna be whittled down. Mid lane, the focus here. Burmese Ghoul still working it. Finally get the top turret. But Twisted Minds still in the game.
Still in the game. That is the breathing room they needed. I mean, again, they still have 1 tower left, which is a good defense. I mean, could still be utilized when a Lord take is happening. The biggest thing that we are seeing here is that Burmese Ghouls are missing 2 individuals, and we are seeing Twisted Minds attempt to take back the land here. They're going to be taking fourth into the river, take out this mid turret, and take as much as they can. This is breathing room. This is breathing room Burmese Ghouls didn't want to give to Twisted Minds, and I think it just goes to show what you were saying earlier, Naisu, is that one I'm offended kind of took Burmese Ghouls by surprise, and now we are going to see that breathing room that allows Sano to come online. Again, still missing 2 items on the carry, which is going to be rough if they want to attempt to take this next Lord or even contest it, as we can already see Stitch is 4-3. If they can possibly pick off Stitch on Burmese Ghouls, they could have a good play here, but they have to keep in mind that Burmese Ghouls has that crazy backline dive. And with that being said, they just can't lose focus. Keep an eye on. I think they need to contest this Lord here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think, given how everything... There's still 8,000 gold behind, by the way, right? But
yeah,
they kind of have to... First, they have to manage both those top and bottom waves because the turrets are down. But it's like, do we actually want to compete for this Lord, right? Because if we give it up, we're most likely going to have a fully exposed base, and then we're going to have to work around that. Morrow does have that immortality available, though. But I'm not sure if they can actually come to this because they might just get sandwich played in. So they're trying to get the vision available. Lord's going to be less than half health here, worked by Burmese Ghouls, and it looks like they might just get the call, right? Let's back off. Conceal going to be used. Burmese Ghouls grabs another Lord.
Yeah, I think that Twisted Minds is going to attempt one more defense here. And I mean, with them having one tower in the mid stall, I think they could mount a great defense. Kind of, we can already see that they're trying to do like a little bit of a cheeky mid bush play here on the left side. Might be able to catch someone off guard if they can catch a pick here. You can. I love what they're doing here. I don't know if they're just TPing or if they're preparing the recall just in case something gets sticky. If they can catch Stitch, I think it might be a good go.
Man, if they can catch Stitch, like that might be a part of it, right? But even Nico, man, Nico 3-0-7. He's having an amazing game on this Nana pick that we've been talking about, even back from the draft. The ability to kind of just hang back, like you still have your passive, right? But just kind of hang back, drop in the ultimate, pop some damage right on that path. And now, you know, kind of follow up through that. Lord, top side, they're going to lose the mid turret here as it's work done. Soxa leading at that front already. Look at the damage. Mike has to respect it. Holding on to the immortality, though. So already base fully down. Morrow goes into the blazing duet, still going to be pushing 4. Still, the damage is going to be there. 7-0 going to be able to fall, though. Lord still up, another shield down. Immortality's available. But Burmese Ghouls still looking to punch it in. Can't finish it just yet. Soxa jumps in. Blink not going to find the connection. Finally, the immortality from Morrow is going to go down. Stitch got the stacks that he needed. He's running back in. Still going to be working on it. Couple of waves pushing in. Twisted Minds can stay in the game. Conceal going to come through. Last Insanity pushing him back. Still working on it. Now Blink in trouble. Twisted Minds, despite being down more than 10,000 gold, holding on, waiting for the full team to be in here. Again, another wave's gonna push. Morrow's gonna be taken out of the picture now, though. Crystal's gonna be worked on. Delar finds the stun. Mike trying to hold the waves back, but the Crystal's gonna go down as Burmese Ghouls takes game 1.
Burmese Ghouls taking game 1. Definitely one of the longest holds we've seen by Twisted Minds there at the end. With you, right? Like I think shutting down Morrow into the early game was some of the key aspects, and we'll see some of the highlights here. Again, some turtle takes definitely lead it into the Twisted Minds' favor, but definitely Burmese Ghouls just giving so much pressure. And then in the early stage, shutting down Morrow just allowed Burmese Ghouls to control everything that they possibly can. And you can see losing the mid turret early on and around about the 8-minute mark. What you were saying, that just the aggression, they didn't even care about the turrets. They were so far ahead in gold that they just wanted the end games. They wanted to push back Twisted Mind as much as possible. And I think it just all attributed to how much trouble Morrow had in the early game. And again, I think if the difference was in the favor of Twisted Minds and it wasn't so far apart, that they could have mounted up some great defenses. They baited out quite a bit of utility from Burmese Ghouls, and I think that took Burmese Ghouls by surprise. They weren't able to utilize a lot of that backline dive, and when they could, they were put into a situation like this. Morrow utilizing that I'm offended to set quite a bit of the team. And Twisted Minds, again, like I said, going back to the drawing board, I think that is where they need to keep their mindset at. Kind of keeping Morrow. Morrow has to maybe not be so aggressive in the jungle because Burmese Ghouls is going to respond to that and take everything they can.
I'm going to follow suit here, man. Yeah, you're doing a lot of puns here with Twisted Minds, right? They need to go back to the drawing board and untwist their minds, man. Game 1, like I feel like their minds were the twisted ones definitely here, right?
Yes.
Because again, it was they struggled from early on until now. I mean, at this point in the game when they finally finished it, right? Like I feel like they're just kind of tripping over their feet here. Like something is not connecting. And, you know, in essence, it's, yeah, their minds were twisted themselves, right? So MVP of the game here, game number 1, Stitch, getting it with the Claude, a pick that has been dominating so far for very apparent reasons. Pairs up really well with Nana, by the way, right? I mean, it's great, the pressure that AoE kind of burst damage, or even just the path where you think about it, Nana plus Claude, like you have to get out of the way, right? Whether it's the direct line or, you know, the blazing duet coming through. It's so difficult for teams to actually kind of find an initiation and go off that. Even if you land, let's say Morrow was stacked, right? He was tanky as can be, and he lands a great I'm offended. You still have to let your team go into the pretty much the fire, right? Because of the 2 heroes that was drafted.